we've been recording these sessions and posting them on the Career Ready Monroe YouTube. So the students that are not able to join the session today are able to go in and watch and participate in the program. So I'll continue to monitor the waiting room and let students in, but we will get started. So welcome everybody to our 5th and final session for Career Ready Monroe and the virtual employer student sessions. Today we're going to be talking about the arts and humanities pathway, and we have 3 very dynamic speakers lined up. So I hope we have some good questions for them from the students. I have posted in the chat a link to for the students to record their attendance to the Google form. Hopefully it will work. If it does not work, we did have a couple glitches in some of the other sessions. Just send me directly, Michelle Bisbing, a chat with your name, your first name, your last name, and the school that you attend, the high school, so that we can make sure that your attendance gets recorded. I guess that's it. I guess I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Michelle Bisbing. I'm with Pocono Mountains Economic Development, and will be the facilitator for our session today. If the students have questions, if things come up as speakers are talking, feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll acknowledge your question and try to answer it as best that we can. So without any further ado, I will introduce our first speaker. We have Jason Tweed. He is the marketing strategist and senior partner with MediaStead. And just a note, if any of the students have been on the Career Ready Monroe website, his firm was the firm that designed the site for us. So, Jason, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to approach this a little bit differently by telling you kind of how I came to be where I am now and the kind of path that takes through the art and humanities. I went to Edinburgh University and graduated way back in 1990. And my original degree was in radio and television broadcasting. I thought I would probably go into radio journalism. That was what I enjoyed most about working for a radio station. And then this silly little thing called the internet got invented. So I graduated college before there was such thing as an internet. And I wanted to get into public relations and get into corporate America. And I realized shortly after I started that I didn't really want to be in corporate America anymore. And the reason is because I'm physically disabled. And what you find if you work for a big business is that if you're very good at what you do, you get elevated to the next level. And if you're very good at that, you get elevated to the next level. And eventually you either become CEO or you get to a point where you're no longer great at what you do. And then it's a question of, do you stay at that level or do you leave and go into a different type of business or career? Well, unfortunately, mine was the entry level because I wasn't able to keep up with the physical tasks that were associated with my job. And I was never going to get promoted. So I made a decision very early on that if I wasn't going to get promoted, I didn't want to be there. So I switched jobs, and I started working for a management consulting firm, a very small firm, and it was no longer based on what I was physically able to do. It was based on how smart I was and how much I contributed to the company. And that was my first really valuable lesson. I think this is important for arts and humanities focused people, because everything else in business is very cut and dry. But when you're an artist or a creative type, you have to constantly prove your value. So that's my first lesson for you, is figure out what you're good at and then figure out how to make that valuable to somebody else. And you may say, what does that have to do with what I do today? Well, now I own the company. 25 years later, I have a web design company. I have, as I say, we have artists and geeks. We have people who are very good at writing code and people who are very good at making stuff pretty. And good websites include both artists and geeks. So if you're either one of them, I have good news. There is a bright future on the internet. Some people don't think that artists can create value, but it's my belief that artists are creating more value today than ever before in human history. And what I mean by that, if you think of every app, the look was designed by a graphic artist. If you think of every video game, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of artists that are crafting these 3D models that become life inside the game. Virtually everything to do with business has an art component associated with it. My daughter is a art student at Kutztown University, and she wants to go into pottery. And you may think to yourself, well, how do you use pottery on the internet? Well, you can't. So she's going to struggle if she wants to make pots. But we've already been having discussions about teaching, which she's very into, and creating pottery and teaching that skill. And it's so the idea is that there isn't much value in how to make mugs, but there's great value in teaching others how to make mugs, if that makes sense. So I want to encourage all of you to look at ways as you move through your career to create value for whoever writes your paycheck. And if you are struggling to do that, quit your job, because that's what I did. In 1997, I quit the last job I ever had. I haven't missed a mortgage payment since then. I've done all kinds of crazy things to hustle, because I knew that as a disabled person, not everybody was going to give me credit for the work that I was able to do. And that's more true 25 years ago than it is today. But I was faced with a lot of people who didn't think I was going to be valuable to their company. So I decided, rather than fight it, I would simply build a company on my own. And that's what I've done. The last thing that I wanted to bring up to you today is there's a huge change in education. And I'm gonna say, I think college, even with the loans, is the best money that you'll ever spend, because college teaches you how to be a learner. If you are a learner, you will be valuable for the rest of your career. I think everybody in this, everyone in this panel would agree to when I say college is great at helping you get your first job, but it's what you learn after college that helps you get your next job and the next one after that. At one time, it was a requirement. Today, you don't have to go to college to become an excellent learner, but you have to be very diligent. If you don't want to go to college, you absolutely can be self-taught. I went to college, but yet they didn't have websites when I was in college. I literally could not have learned what I know today and my entire company is based on. So what I'm saying is that you can teach yourself just about anything. And if you have that drive, college may not be the best road. There are some places in my field that you do need a degree, but not many. Some of the best coders that I know are 14-year-old kids because they sit and focus on nothing but figuring out how to do something cool. At my company, we don't have time to look and try to figure out how to do new cool things. We're busy working. So in that case, a 14-year-old has us at a disadvantage because they can actually learn more if they're dedicated. The last thing I'll say is make sure you look for employment in your future that embraces your ability to keep learning. That's probably more important than a good paycheck. You will become more valuable over time if you keep studying. And you want a company that's going to allow you to do that. And if not, they're not allowing you to grow. And it's probably a bad fit. At my company, every Friday is what we call Media Stead Day. And every Friday, my entire company says, we're going to work on ourselves and our company to try to make it better. And we work as a team sometimes it's self-study, but we take 20% of our total time and focus on nothing but getting smarter. If you're working in the internet industry, you have to do that just to keep pace with your competition. I'm happy to answer any questions if you're interested in website development, or if you're interested in any of the jobs associated with building stuff on the internet. I always joke, our entire job is making pixels look pretty. So if you are interested in making pixels look pretty for a living, I'm happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I was muted. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate your insight. And again, students, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If you don't want to, unmute yourself and talk, that's fine.
Go to Career Ready Monroe and check that out too.
That too.
There's some interesting stuff there.
So next up, we have Brianna Strunk. She is the Public Relations Manager for the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. Brianna?
Hi, thank you, Michelle. And I had a work meeting at Kalahari Resort and Conventions. So I am in an empty room talking to you. So I'm trying to keep it low because there is a conference right next door, but also the service isn't the best here. So if I'm breaking up, please put something in chat and I'll try to run to a different area. Thanks for having me, Michelle. Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for all the students for being on this call. My name is Brianna Strunk. I'm the Public Relations Manager at the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau, or PMVB for short. Basically what we do, we're an organization that markets the Poconos. So I'll talk more about that in a minute, but I do like to start these student sessions by giving you some background on myself. So I was born and raised here in the Pocono Mountains, primarily in the Tannersville area. So I am from the Poconos, and I decided to start and continue my career here, and I have no plans of leaving. I went to Notre Dame, the Catholic school in East Stroudsburg. And ever since a young age, I was very interested in the arts. I took singing lessons, acting classes. I enjoyed participating in my high school musicals. So I was always comfortable being in front of crowds or people. I enjoyed public speaking and all of that. So I knew that my career would be centered somewhere in that field. I'm really not good at math, so I knew I'd be staying away from math and sciences. So after graduating at Notre Dame, I went to East Stroudsburg University, ESU. Of course, we all know where that is. And while I was at ESU, or even prior to that, I remember one day sitting on the couch at home, I was eating a bowl of cereal. I must have been like 9 or 10 years old. And I turned on the TV and I saw a newscast and I thought, wow, I really want to do that. I want to be a news reporter. Sounds like something I'd enjoy. So that's what I worked for and worked towards all these years. So when I went to ESU, I majored in communication studies, and I did things that would bolster my resume and my work experience related to wanting to be a journalist, a news reporter, a news anchor. So I joined the college radio station, and the biggest thing that propelled me forward was an internship. I cannot stress enough how important an internship is. So while I was at ESU sophomore year, I got an internship with WBRE TV. That's the NBC station locally, and they cover the Pocono area all the way up to like where Knoebels is, an hour and a half away. So it covers 17 counties, but the Poconos is one of their biggest counties. So I got an internship in the Pocono newsroom on Main Street in Stroudsburg. So I was going between college courses and my internship, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It solidified that I was definitely in the right role. So an internship is very important. For me, it solidified I was on the right path, but there was someone else in my class who wanted to be a reporter. She did an internship at a news station and she hated it. So the internship did well for her in a different way because it propelled her into a different direction. And now she does marketing, which, you know, it's a good thing that she figured it out then and there before going any further in the wrong career path. So I really went above and beyond in my internship, going in on my days off, doing extra work, and it ended up paying off. So while I was graduating from ESU, the Pocono reporter at WBRE TV was leaving to take another job. So I was really fortunate that right when I graduated college, I became the Pocono reporter of WBRE TV. And I covered news here in the Poconos for 5+ years. I also fulfilled my dream of becoming a news anchor behind the desk. So I was reporting in the Poconos some days, good stories, bad stories, anything that was going on. And I was also fulfilling my dream of being an anchor on the weekends every Saturday and Sunday. That required waking up at 3 a.m. But you have to make sacrifices, especially when you're starting at the beginning. So I became the Pocono reporter before I was even 21 at that point. So, you know, it wasn't the best paying, and the hours weren't ideal. It's a very strenuous job, but when you're starting at the bottom, you have to do anything and everything to take advantage of the work experience and build yourself up professionally. So fast forward to about 2019, I decided that I was ready to take a break. I wanted to change careers, which was pretty surprising even for myself, knowing from a young age that I wanted to be a reporter, and I was in my dream career. But I figured I'm young. While I'm, if I have something else in mind, now's the time to go for it. So I was able to become the public relations manager at the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. I got that job through networking, which is super important. If you meet someone who's in a field that that you're interested in, or someone who you're impressed by professionally, networking is so important. Get their phone number, get their email. So the CEO of the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau, I had known for many, many years as a reporter. So I used my networking capabilities to get this role at the Visitors Bureau. So I've been here since 2019, and I absolutely love it. Public relations is pretty much on the opposite end of the spectrum of being a reporter. So as a reporter, I was receiving press releases from PR people who wanted me to cover their stories. Now I'm in the opposite role where I'm pitching the local reporters. So having that background was really helpful. So the Visitors Bureau is the marketing organization for the Poconos. So believe it or not, because we all live here in the Poconos, there are 30 million people who come here to vacation. So we think of, Jersey Shore, Ocean City, as places we like to go vacation. The 30 million people like to come here to the Poconos. We have a lot to offer. We have all of our indoor water park resorts, Pocono Raceway. We have a lot of outdoor features like hiking and biking trails, which, as I'm sure you guys know, became especially popular during COVID because people wanted to get out of crowded cities. And we market ourselves as a drivable destination. So when we market to people we want to visit, we're marketing areas like Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, because they're all within driving distance. So the Poconos is within a few hours driving distance of some major metropolitan areas. So what I love about public relations, and what I encourage you guys to do as you're looking towards your forever career is, are you the type of person who wants to sit behind a desk 9 to 5 and you don't really want to interact with anyone? You want to be left alone and do your work, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. Or do you want to be someone who you're not really tied down to a desk or an office, and you're out and about and you're interacting with people face to face? For me, that's the career path that I like. I like being out and being in front of people and talking to people and communicating. And basically what I get to do is I get to tell the story of the Poconos. So I'm sending out press releases to media. I'm, meeting with local organizations and groups on behalf of the Visitors Bureau. No day's the same. And that's what I truly love. And another thing about the Visitors Bureau, and something unique that we're able to do, is we have a television channel called Pocono Television Network, which is the Visitors Bureau travel channel. So it's a visual storyteller of what the Poconos has to offer. So I still get to tell stories about the Poconos. That station has a Roku channel, Fire TV channel. It airs in New York and Philadelphia. So I do get to do a little reporting as well, which is really cool. And I wanted to share my screen and show you guys what we do with the Pocono Television Network. So I'll try to do this now. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay. So here is our website. If you want to check it out for yourself, it's called poconotelevision.com. And here's a live stream of our website. And if you were to turn on the channel, what you'd see right now.
And the portions that you get, and just overall quality control. The quality control in our building with our food is second to none.
Our staff, I think, enjoys being here. It's fun. There's a lot of energy, there's engaging with the customers. The music is going, the lights are going, the people are excited, they're happy, and our staff is
Electrifying. It's at the point where the people
So that's just a little taste of the live stream. Of course, I'm sure many of you know Dasaki on Route 611. The Visitors Bureau is membership based. We have over 400 members that we help market, and Dasaki is one of our members. So we have a commercial for them running on our channel, Pocono Television Network. And what's really cool is we also have a monthly show called Pocono Mountains Magazine that's hosted by myself and my coworker, Jim Hamill, who used to work at WNEP TV. So together we use our storytelling skills to do this monthly show. And it airs locally in the Poconos, it airs in Philadelphia, New York. So it's a 1-hour monthly show. And I wanted to show you a segment in our show. So I thought you guys would be interested in this one. You may have heard that Great Wolf Lodge, one of our indoor water park resorts, is expanding, which of course is good news for us at the Visitors Bureau, because that will be more opportunities for our visitors. So I just wanted to show you one of the stories that airs in our show.
Welcome to Great Wolf Lodge, one of our 4 indoor water park resorts here in the Poconos, where a major expansion and renovation was just announced, the largest in this property's history. Those multi-million-dollar changes are coming inside and around the resort.
Go. Keep your heads up, everybody. Jeez.
From dirt to new digs, ground is officially broken for 30 woodland villas exclusive to Great Wolf's Pocono Resort. Each 1,500 square foot villa will feature 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a spacious living area, kitchenette, and private outdoor space with nature views, ideal for large groups looking for their own quiet oasis.
The beauty about it too is that it's multi-generational, which is what we plan for. So whether it's, grandma and grandpa and siblings, etc., or even if it's just friends and family, you can bring a whole bunch more people to stay here.
While villa guests will have their own exclusive check-in area, most families check in here at the Grand Lobby, which is also being expanded and revamped. A few steps away, plans for a new a la carte restaurant. And inside the water park, where it's summer year-round, the tiniest of swimmers will enjoy a new cub paw pool with frog and turtle-themed splash pads, a water spraying tree, and several kiddie slides.
Is that even a question? I literally love everything about this place.
The Great Wolf Lodge brand consists of 20 locations. The Pocono property opened in 2005, creating quite the splash as the region's first of now 4 indoor water park resorts.
Really, I credit Great Wolf Lodge with starting that trend to really bring back the Pocono Mountains, or the resurgence of the Pocono Mountains.
The resorts.
And I know we're on a tight schedule, so if you want to check out any of these stories, you can go on PoconoTelevision.com. And we also do internships. We have a few interns with us that are interested in marketing, in public relations, in video services, editing. So there's always different internship opportunities that we offer. And if you are interested in the hospitality industry, it is the #1 industry in the Pocono Mountains. So that encompasses all of our resorts, our hotels, our restaurants, our attractions. That's all part of the hospitality industry. So you can go on our website, PoconoMountains.com, and check out what jobs we have available. As Jason alluded to before I started speaking in Jason's presentation, you kind of have to start from the bottom and work your way up. So my first job when I was 16 was I did the airbrush tattoos at Camelback Resort. So technically I entered the hospitality industry in my first job, and now I've been able to work my way up to a manager position at the Visitors Bureau, which markets Camelback in all of the resorts. So you always have to start somewhere. So if you want to go on our website to check out the jobs we have available, we're always looking for lifeguards. You could see here, we have a lot of lifeguard openings, but really cool things like a river guide. Whitewater Rafting Adventures is looking for a river guide. So just some really cool job opportunities that you can start in and then work your way up to over time. So if we go in here to management, you can see some of the more top level positions that are available. A general manager of a restaurant. So there are a lot of different opportunities in the hospitality industry. And it's not just the typical jobs that you would think. Like on our team at the Visitors Bureau, we have a team who takes care of our website. We have 2 videographers. We have somebody who's dedicated solely to running social media, which in this day and age, I'm sure, you know, social media, everyone's into social media. So there's a job that you can have in social media. So there's just so many different opportunities. So I encourage you to go look at this website and see what's available. And the only other thing I'll say is just stressing the importance of internships. It's okay to not know what you want to do for the rest of your life at this point, but start honing into what are your skills? What are you interested in? What are you good at? And let that lead you in a direction to see what careers could be fulfilling for you. And I think that's it. And I'll give it back to Michelle. And thanks so much for having me.
Great, thank you. The next component of this program is going to be, we want to try to get some of the students that have participated in the program into like a 20-25 hour internship to try to do some of this exploration in an area or pathway that they think that they're interested in. So we might be hitting you guys up for some of those placements in the next month or so. So
Perfect.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Brianna. So our next presenter is Pat Lincoln. He is the general manager at the radio station here in Stroudsburg, WSBG in Bigfoot Country, but the parent company is Seven Mountains Media. Pat, welcome.
Michelle, thank you so much for inviting me. It's always humbling to know someone wants to hear about what we do. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Seven Mountain Media is it's a group of radio stations from Eastern Pennsylvania all the way through Western Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and all the way down to Kentucky. And we operate 56 radio stations and all across that area. And I think it's important to understand, like a lot of media companies, radio is a component of what we do. It happens to be the highest revenue generator of what we do, but we also offer online logo creation. We offer online advertising. We offer logo creation. We offer video creation. We offer audio creation. We offer you want to put a billboard up, we can create a billboard. So we're really a media company that's driven financially by radio, and radio is a very local medium. Local. WSBG stands for the SBG stands for Stroudsburg. WVPO, the VPO stands for Voice of the Poconos. A little background on our company. We are, like I just said, a small regional radio station. This is probably the 6th or 7th owner of these particular radio stations here in Monroe County. I also manage some of our stations in, all of our stations in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. So a little bit on the background of the company. Our company, it's pretty small. We're a pretty small radio media company, and it's female owned. So if there's anybody out there listening to me right now and you happen to be a girl, understand that there's a path to ownership in media. It's just hard work. It's really what it comes down to. A description, what does current jobs look like? What do current jobs and what do future jobs look like in this business? 30 years ago, there was 3 people, and there's 3 jobs inside of a radio station. The people on air, the people that put the commercials on the air, and the people that sold the commercials that went on the air, right? Now there's promotions departments, there's editing departments, there's production departments, we have a video department, we have a creative services department. It's changed drastically, and it will continue to change so that we are consistently meeting our advertisers and our content consumers needs, and we're trying to change right along with that. Opportunities that exist inside of radio stations. Typically, people that end up working here love music. So if you have a love of music, this is a good place to start. This is a good place to at least investigate your career. If you stick around and work hard enough, and the thing that I think is the best pathway inside of any media company, Brianna spoke to it very well. She was there, she worked hard, and opportunities came to her, and she was there. And it's the same thing that happens here. People that are working hard are going to have opportunities come to them, and it happens all the time. It literally just happened last week. We hired a new person who was working here into a full-time position. Areas of need. What do we need in this industry? Salespeople are always needed. Everyone thinks that radio is all about the on-air side of things. The guy who's talking, or the woman who's talking behind the microphone. There are very few of those. There's a lot of people that work in a radio station, and we all support them. We support each other, but we support the on-air staff and the sales staff. So things that would be needed inside of a radio station, the things we look for the most, they're very basic and simple things. Can you be on time? Can you be accountable? Can you do the work that's presented to you? If you can't do the work that's presented to you, can you ask? Do you possess the communication skills to ask for help? Opportunities in the future, everyone needs to have those skills, but opportunities in the future, I would think, this is going to sound pretty weird, I would think web-based and video-based jobs are going to be huge inside of radio stations. Right now, the vast majority of our audience exists on air. But when you can listen to us on an app, you can listen to us anywhere in the world. So it really grows the market reach that we have just away from Monroe County or Lackawanna and Luzerne County. It really does a great job for us. People that can help drive those types of technology are going to be employed in this business. I think some of the challenges that we're finding in hiring people are there aren't very many radio programs in America. So people have to find a job, find some way into a radio station. That's one of the hardest things that we deal with, is just getting that first introduction. I think a lot of people love music. And I think that it's like a dream job. Oh my God, I'd love to be in the music business. Ultimately, I am in the entertainment business. I just happen to run the business of the entertainment business. That's what we're in. We entertain people. And I'm telling you, the challenge is just people going to our website and filling out a job application. What are the professional employable skills that we look for? I can tell you the number one thing that I look for when I hire anybody is accountability. It's really everything else we can teach you. We can teach you how to be on air. I can teach you how to put commercials on the radio. I can teach you how to produce commercials. I can teach you how to sell commercials. But if you're not accountable, quite frankly, we're not even interested in talking to you. Benefits of working at a radio station, and I'm a little surprised Brianna didn't bring this up. Benefits of working in mass media are really, really cool. We have tickets to concerts. We have tickets to travel and shows, and it's if you wanted to go to Mexico, we can literally give you a trip to Mexico. It is one of the cool things about working in mass media. Dinner, gift certificates, we've pretty much got it all. That's really a fun thing. A unique thing about working here, you can be driving home and you're going to hear your voice on the radio. You might be walking through a store and you hear yourself, on a commercial. I know Brianna probably got very used to seeing herself on television, but it's still kind of a cool thing about working here. Well, I think one thing that would surprise most people when you come to work here is you see people who are on the radio all the time, and it's like, oh boy, that's Chuck Cease. He's just doing his job. It's like one of the things I think is the most surprising is how nice and normal people are, and how down to earth they are. It's kind of cool. So, and the last thing that's on here is a few remarks about my career path. It's very different. I went to East Stroudsburg University, like Brianna did, and very proud warrior. Love it there. Ran track there. It was a great experience, and I will forever be grateful for that opportunity. But I was a speech pathology major, and I got into doing my clinical rounds, speech pathology and audiology, a dual major. And there's no way. I realized I do not want to do this. And I told my parents, I'm like, I do not want to do this. They're like, no, you need to graduate. So I graduated, and I got out of school, and I didn't know what I want to do. I knew I didn't want to do that, right? Like, I wish I would have had an internship, right? Like Brianna very wisely said, I wish I would have had an internship. And I got a job, and I was working at this thing called the Yellow Pages, which to the younger people on this, they may not even know what it is. But it was a very important book in everyone's house, and it had ads in it. And you would go there and you would look up, I need a plumber, and you would find a plumber, and you close the book and you dial the number. So I started out in advertising, and one of my best friends was in radio, and I was working till like 11 o'clock at night, and he was working till 5. And I'm like, wait a second, you're working till 5 and you're making more money than me? And we were both selling advertising. So that's why I got into advertising in it. And one thing led to another, and I've been the general manager of these radio stations and I was a partner in a radio station group. So I was an owner of some radio stations too, or a partner in a company that owned radio stations. It's led to some really wonderful, great things in my life, and I'm very grateful to have this. But it's like the opposite path that Jason and Brianna took. They were into it. I was not even remotely interested in it. Like the radio station I didn't even know where it was. I had no idea where the radio station was at ASU until I had to go teach a class there. So that's all I really have. I think the three of us would be really interested in your questions, if you have any. If you don't have any, that's cool too. You can go to my website and check out the jobs that we have. And you can check sevenmountainsmedia.com or WSBG or WVPO.com, Bigfoot Country Poconos.com. And you can learn a lot more about us, or you could email me and I can answer any question that you had. And again, Michelle, thank you for this opportunity. I'm super grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for your remarks. And as you can see, two of our presenters took very traditional kind of paths through their career. They kind of set out on a goal and had their education, an internship, and it all kind of falls into place. But then, others take a more non-traditional path, and sometimes you end up falling into a career more than than what you're planning for. So keep an open mind, and I think there is one of the other speakers in one of the other sessions said, you have to pay your dues, so to speak. So you want to get in entry level, and there's lots of opportunities to work your way up, especially in our local hospitality industry. Definitely opportunities there for advancement. So any questions? I'm not seeing any hands up or anything in the chat. Again, I did put the link in the chat for the attendance. No questions? All right, now's your chance. Going once, going twice.
I will say this, if I may interject a little bit, Michelle.
Mhm.
The one great part about arts and humanities in general is that we all love to talk to people. So if you go to Brianna's website or Seven Mountains, or if you come to my website, which is mediastead.com, you can probably email the other guests and they'll get back to you because they're nice human beings. But you can do even more fun than that with me. If you hit the little chat button, it actually pops up right on my desk. So go to mediastead.com and hit the chat, and I'll be happy to chat with you live, because that's how I have fun with pixels. But yeah, I think that one great part about this career in general is in the different paths that I've taken. This is the area in communication media that people are the most helpful, by far. People want to help you to get to your next level because it very rarely hurts them to help you, if that makes sense. And there aren't many industries like that. If you become an attorney or you become a straight up the business route, there are a lot of people who your ambition affects their ability to get ahead. And I think that's one of the beauties of mass media, multimedia, is that that's just not the case. There's so much variety in our careers that we're willing to help you. I mean, Mr. Lincoln mentioned that he started out, and at one time there were very few jobs in radio, and they're growing. That the list of jobs is growing every single day. So it's not a situation where you're taking someone else's job. Often you're creating that job. We're finding a way of helping someone else to create that job. And that's going to keep happening in the future. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, a lot of the careers that a lot of the things that you'll be doing then were not even invented yet. And that's kind of one of the exciting parts about media in general. But that's my 2 cents.
All right. Appreciate your 2 cents. Any other final comments from anybody? All right. Well, thank you all so much for participating. And as I said, this is our 5th and final session. I hope we were able to give you a flavor for a variety of the career opportunities that are available right here in Monroe County. We obviously couldn't touch on all of them, Just tried to give you a good sample, and we will be working with your school coordinators to get the next internship opportunities set up for you. So you'll stay tuned. And thank you, presenters. Appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thanks
the
for having us.
opportunity.
Good night.
Bye.